Wezo TV, and thank you so much for your loyalty. This is the network where you can get the live broadcast of all major activities around the former president, John Dramani Mahama, as he warms up for a strategic campaign ahead of the 2020 elections. This afternoon, we are live at Bole, and the building right on my left-hand side is the district capital. That's the district assembly hall. And is the registration center. This is where the former president, John Dramani Mahama, has always been voting. Today, we are expecting him here to register for the 2020 elections. Don't forget that the Electoral Commission has been undertaking this. So this is Wezo TV, and this is the station where you can get live broadcast of all activities around the former president, John Dramani Mahama, ahead of the 2020 elections. Don't forget that the December 7 election will be very crucial, and the former president and the NDC as a party are strategically positioning themselves to prepare for the campaign. Today, the former president is expected to arrive here any moment from now. We are right in front of the district capital. That's the Bole District Assembly Hall. This is where the former president always votes. And if you look behind me, this is the registration center where we expect him to arrive in a few minutes from now to go through the processes to acquire his voter's ID card. This is what the former president will be using to register as a candidate for the 2020 elections. And then the campaign starts. We understand that the process in the Bole Bamboy constituency has relatively been very smooth. There are about 95 registration centers in this particular constituency, and we are told that most of the areas where the exercise has taken place already, no major incident has occurred. But next door is Banda, just beyond the Banda Nkwanta area, and that is where I'm sure all of us who have followed social media, who have followed conversations across several media platforms, have realized that the exercises there have been fraught with some form of violence, where at least one person has been reported dead. And then we are also told that the activities of military men are really provoking the opposition party, especially because they are physically preventing people from going to registration centers from the communities in which they live. These are Ghanaians who are either settler farmers or fishermen, and because of the cluster system that EC has introduced, they have to move from their community to some of the registration centers, and that is where the problem is. But we are told that here at Bole Bamboy, the exercise has been relatively smooth. As I told you, John Mahama will soon be joining us. But for those of you who are watching us, I want to give you an idea about Bole Bamboy, which is also a district, a predominantly farming community. So of a population of about 80,000, about 70% of them are predominantly farmers. The rest are into agro processing and other forms of small businesses. It is one of the major sprawling districts in the Savannah region. It used to be part of the northern region, but now it is part of the newly created Savannah region. And so you can see from behind me that some of the chairs are very empty. We are told that from day one, the exercise witnessed a number of people who came. On day one, EC officials closed with about 135 names on the list. On the second day, they shot the figure up to about 234. It went up again to 278 on Wednesday, on Tuesday, and as of today, 10 o'clock, when I was coming here, I was told that the number has risen to 252, 53 thereabout. So it tells you that the first day of the registration exercise, the number was relatively huge. But today, when you see from the seats behind me, you see that many of them are empty. I can see only two men waiting for their turn. You can see the registration officers taking people through the processes, and at the tail end is where the machines are, where the potential voters will be taking their register. But there are some NDC officials here anxious. Farage will enter this compound to welcome him and to witness the process. There's one just standing behind us here. I want to have a conversation with him to better appreciate this constituency and then to understand how the process has been so far. We'll be speaking to him shortly. I'm told he's one of the youth organizers of the NDC in this particular constituency, and we'll be speaking to him shortly. But let me just give you an idea about some of the things we have witnessed even on our way to this place. We traveled by road just to have an appreciation of how the environment is because of what we had heard. We moved all the way from Techiman through Wenchi, through the Bui Junction area, through the Bandang Kwanta Junction, and then entered Bole. We can tell you that the road has been very quiet, but we only noticed some police vehicles positioned at strategic areas between the Bandang Kwanta and the Bui area, and that is where we know when you travel 30 minutes into the main township where Banda is, where the confusion or the pockets of violence we have witnessed so far. But I have with you, you are one of the deputy organizers of the NDC in this constituency. Because of social distancing, I want to stay here so that we can have a conversation. First of all, how has the process been so far across the 95 registration centers?
Well, thank you very much. We started the process as scheduled by the EC, and out of the 95 polling stations we have across the whole constituency, the program or the activities keep started the very day they started. They have been relatively calm. We are one people. We know ourselves, and we've lived in this constituency with peace and unity for quite some time now. His Excellency, the former President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, has been an MP here, and this is the place he has been registering and casting his vote, be it assembly or presidential and parliamentary elections. And anytime he is coming home, we see him as a member of us, as an indigenous family member, as somebody who has contributed towards the development of Bole district, Gonjaland, and Ghana at large. And producing such a wonderful personality, we think that anytime he's coming to Bole, we should give him a rising welcome. Exercise, as earlier on said, has been relatively cool. We have exceeded the existing voter register that we have on record. We have already exceeded. So
you are making reference to the 2016 elections. There's a number of people on the voter list, yes, for the Bole constituency. Right. I will be continuing the conversation with you, but for those of you who are watching this live on Wezo TV, on social media platforms, Facebook and TV XYZ, which is partnering Wezo TV to bring you live coverages of every activity that will be around the former president as he warms up for a strategic campaign to win the 2020 elections. I just want to let you understand again that apart from partaking in the processes here to get his voter ID card, the former president is also billed to witness a football match among some teams in the Bole township just to excite him and to welcome him. He'll be presenting jerseys, he'll be presenting football, he'll be giving cash, money cash to wins just for the show of love and then to encourage them to live in unity. And it's good to hear that the NDC executive for the constituency here is telling us that so far the process has been peaceful. The NDC and the MPP have been working together peacefully to ensure that the exercise goes on well with 2 more days to go. You must also appreciate the fact that this is one of the strongholds of the NDC. The Bole constituency has witnessed at least 70 to 74% of vote cast since 1992. So NDC has seen this as one of its comfortable seats. But irrespective of this, they are not taking the voter registration exercise lightly at all. After the football match, when the former president has gone through this process, and he moves from that pitch, we are moving to the Bole Palace. That's what I'm told, according to the itinerary. From there, he's expected to visit some registration centers at Bamboy. He'll be going to Bandang Kwanta, at least for today. Several other activities are built up for him for tomorrow, Friday, and the other days. But let's stay with the youth executive of the NDC in this constituency. So now, we have just wrapped up with some idea about Bole in general. Yeah. Now, tell us, as a party, of course, this is a comfortable seat. Many people may be watching you and may wish to hear more than what we have witnessed in other parts of the country. Yes. I'm sure you've witnessed the violence elsewhere.
Yes.
Now, beyond the conversation we have had, how has the two major political parties been working together to ensure that we witness this and cut this through to the 2020 elections?
Well, thank you very much. As earlier on mentioned, we see our brothers at the other side as our relatives, we see them as our friends, we see them as family members, the same way they also see us. So we've been telling them that it is not easy for you to groom a child up to the level where His Excellency, the former president, have reached. So why wouldn't you rally behind us so that we get the best of results for him? And this is what we have been doing. Although it has not been easy, but I can assure you that we are working hand in hand to reduce the numbers of the MPP drastically in the constituency come 2020 general election. As earlier on mentioned, the gap is huge. And I don't think they will be dreaming of closing the gap, if not we, the NDC, working to widen it. And I can confidently say that our MP, Honorable Alhaji Yusuf Suleiman Ore, has worked tirelessly, although in opposition, to bring development to the constituency. And we believe that based on that, majority of our people, even at the other side, will vote massively for him and the NDC come 2020 general election.
Well, it's good to hear this from you, but I believe that shortly I will also be speaking to the NPP agent here to hear the testimony that so far the process has been very, very smooth in this particular district, which is also the constituency, I'm told, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. Now, let's look at the township. We are waiting for the arrival of the former president. We earlier told those watching us live on Wezo TV, on Facebook, across several other social media handles, on TVXYZ Live, we have explained to them that majority of the people here are farmers. Yes. Some are into agro business. Yes. Tell us a little more about Bole Bamboy. This is the home district of the former president of this country, the man many Ghanaians have endorsed as a visionary leader, somebody who is a unifier, somebody who has the heart to accommodate, somebody people are appreciating as a man, a personality who has demonstrated his commitment to build the country. And of course, I can testify that when you move around the country, there are several infrastructure projects that are attributed to the vision he had, and many which have borne testimony to solutions to problems, crises affecting our country. That is on one leg. When you go to the educational sector or the health sector, or you go to the transport sector, and so on and so forth, there's somebody majority of Ghanaians are confident will win the 2020 elections because of the measures they have put in place in the past and how people have been able to assess his performance from 2016 to 2012 to 2016, and under Nana Akufo-Addo from 2016 to 2020, which has about 4 months more to go. You are in this district, and of course you have seen a lot of things gone on over the period. How would you say that his impact on you as a people, as a role model, as a former president, and of course his arrival here will make you feel proud to be associated with the party he belongs to?
As earlier on said, we are very proud receiving or seeing His Excellency coming to his constituency to register or to do other activities. This is his home, so anytime he's coming, we give him the rising welcome. We are feeling bad because this is the man who has laid foundation, solid foundation for our farmers, for our market women, for agro business people. But here is the case, nothing is working now in the country.
Now, when you say nothing is working, what specifically are you referring to? Because obviously, Nana Akufo-Addo's government has been in power for 3 years, and the assumption is that he may have done something, but I would have wished that you perhaps go into more specifics where your expectations were, if he made promises and he didn't fulfill, for which reason you would think that Bole Bamboy constituency feels disappointed.
Yes, we feel disappointed, highly disappointed in this current government. I said nothing is working because we interact with market women all the time. We interact with farmers all the time. We will interact with fishermen all the time. And they are telling us that they are dying. Their business are collapsing. People are losing their jobs because of the collapse of banks and other things. Why? Because this government has no plan for the youth of this country. I speak for the youth because I'm a deputy youth organizer, and the future of this country depends on the youth of this country. So I see that this government, this current government, has no plans for this country. Nothing is working. Walk into Bole market now, and you will see that the market women, they are out with their goods, and nobody is even asking of the prices.
Yes, so we will continue that conversation, yes. But I just came in because over the last 4 weeks,
yes,
there has been a conversation about collapsed banks,
yes,
and promises by government to pay them by the end of last month. That, yes, was July 31st.
Yes.
And when we heard the receiver, he created the impression that about 96 to 98% of them have been paid. Just 2 days ago, I think yesterday,
yes,
the president suggested that almost all of them have been cleared.
Yes.
You are on the ground.
Yes.
You
I interact,
have conversations or interact,
yes,
with the traders.
Yes.
What is really the picture on the ground?
They are giving us a blur picture. They are giving us a false information. They are misleading us. What they say, if you come to the ground, it's not the reality in the ground. You will testify that business are really collapsing.
So it means that many of those depositors have not received their money?
Nothing at all. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We have members who lost their monies to banks. We have people who lost their jobs, and they are within, not even in the urban area, they are within Bole, and they can even testify. And they are very angry, waiting for 2020 to kick this government out of power.
So the suggestion is that because many people are either farmers who depend on some of the banks like GN Bank, for example,
yes,
to take loans to go into businesses, or many of them who are into agro-business or into petty trading, yes, they relied on some of these facilities, microfinance institutions,
yes,
savings,
yes,
and loans, yes, companies, yes, to raise money. And because many of them have collapsed, yeah, and the traders cannot really get money to turn around, yes, it is affecting the economy, yes, and the lives of the people. That's, yes, exactly what you want to say.
Exactly. Because now you have your small capital. They tell you that save whilst you are doing business, you save small. Now you've been saving. All of the sudden you wake up one day to go and withdraw money, and they will tell you that there's no money. We have closed. Go home. There's no money to give to you to go and support your business. Now I have my money. I've invested my money in the bank, and you are telling me to go home. What do you expect me? A family man like me, a woman who have kids, a widow who is doing the business. The husband is no longer alive, and she's managing the business to take care of the child. This widow will wept and go home empty-handed. So you see that this government is full of empty promises. They are just not there to help the ordinary Ghanaian. Okay, they are here to kill us.
Hold it there. Let me also remind our viewers that this is Wezo TV. This is a live broadcast from the premises of the Bole District Assembly, and behind me is the registration center. We are expecting the former president and NDC's 2020 flag bearer to arrive any moment from now. When he arrives, he's expected to go through the normal processes to acquire his voter ID card. It is very unique, because if he's not able to acquire a voter ID card, it means he cannot register or go through the processes to be filed as a presidential candidate for the NDC in the 2020 elections. And then we have 2 days left for the EC to officially close this exercise. So when he arrives, he will go through the process. Obviously, his people around who are yearning to catch a glimpse of him, because this is where he has always been registering, this is where he has always voted, and so they want to catch a glimpse of him. For those of you who have missed the earlier part of our conversation, we are saying that when he finishes the registration exercise, there's a football match he's going to witness. From there, he will go to the Bole Palace. From there, he will visit some registration centers. Beyond this one, he will go to Bamboy, he will go to Bandang Kwanta, and then he would later retire and then visit other places tomorrow, and then go to the northern region, go to the Oti region before he leaves here and returns back to Accra. I am here with one of the NDC youth organizers, and this event is also live on TV XYZ because we are partnering with Wezo TV to give you any activity that will come around the former president ahead of the 2020 elections. Now, we were talking about the women. Now, as we speak, just before we go, I can hear the siren giving us signal about the likelihood of the former president entering this premises any moment from now. But as we wrap up, because when he comes, our focus will be on him. The police vehicle has just entered, and that tells you the advance team has arrived, and very shortly the former president will come. Now, we just spoke about the condition, that's the economic conditions in this area. Now, beyond farming, agro-business, and those into petty trading, we know schools are here, which obviously will employ people in white-collar jobs. How are those ones also like? Because this is one of the sprawling districts in the Savannah region.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. Quite aside from agro-businesses, people going
I was talking to you Sunday, I was signal you.
Other things, I can confidently say that the level of education is very high in this part of the country. And let me, at this moment, appreciate the former president for supporting education all this while. He has used his MP Common Fund to upgrade schools and other things up to the level of being in the highest office as a political leader. Let me say unemployment rate is very high here because we have people who have completed universities, they have completed nursing and training technical institutions, but there's no job. They rely on this current government promises, thinking that things will work out well for them.
So unfortunately, because we are preparing for the arrival of the former president, yes, I just will thank you very much for joining us for this conversation. Okay. And then I will perhaps speak to, because a lot of the NDC executives are arriving, so thank you very much. He will be joining me shortly here to also have a chat with me. I'm told that he's one of the, please can you stand here, one of the constituency executives. He's actually the deputy communications officer, I'm told, for the Savannah region. And so he's one of the regional, that's deputy regional communications officer for the Savannah region. I'll be talking to him right now. And then if the cameras will be panning around, you see that the policemen are taking position to ensure that there is enough security here to make sure we have a conducive environment. Former President Mahama has been associated with numbers of people coming around him just to show love because of how majority of Ghanaians appreciate him. Because of COVID-19, this activity has been planned to be under low profile. But even beyond that, we anticipate that a lot of people will come here to witness him going through the process. So the policemen are here to secure the area to ensure that there is some level of respect for social distancing. So I have with me the Deputy Communications Officer for the Savannah region for the NDC. So sir, you can stand here and let's have a chat. First of all, for the purpose of those who are watching us, they would want to hear you very well. Can you introduce yourself, mention your full name so that for those of you who are listening and can see you on TV, at least they can associate your face with your name?
Yes, I'm Abdullah Abdul Jalilu, the Deputy Regional Communication Officer for Savannah region. Yeah.
Okay, so now tell us, we have had conversations about the registration, how it's gone so far, the fact that this is a stronghold of the NDC. We've tried to understand the economy of the area and then the mood among the people. As a communications officer of the party, you are looking at the region as a whole. Give me a better picture about how the registration has gone on beyond Bole, Bamboy, where former President Mahama will be joining us shortly to go through the process behind me.
I think the registration has been smooth, precisely Bole, Bamboy constituency. And when you look at the numbers in Bole, Bamboy constituency as compared to the previous register, they had about 39,000. But as at yesterday, we are hitting about 51,000. And so at the end of the day,
you are talking about 39,000 as at the end of 2016.
Yesterday,
okay,
we recorded a figure of 51,000
compared to 2016.
Compared to 2016, the old register.
Well, unfortunately, we will continue this conversation.
Okay.
So don't go away, hang around.
Okay.
We are creating space. We can see a convoy of vehicles arriving, and if the cameras will pan there, we see police vehicles followed by motorbikes, followed by people in pickup vehicles, and then you can see the numbers swelling up, obviously suggesting that the former president is about arriving. We will just ask all those around here. The MP area is joining me, so sir, you can stand here. We'll have a conversation with you. And while we are waiting for the conversation with the member of parliament, we want us to understand that you can see the vehicle, the former president convoy arrive, and very soon he might. And the policemen and all those giving the protocols are also following him. I'll just run commentary as he fights from his vehicle, and then after that I'll continue the conversation with the member of parliament while we witness the former president go through the process to get himself registered. And so the former president arriving, and so for those of you who are watching us live on TV, on TV XYZ, live on other social media handles, especially on TV, Facebook, and across, coming to you from the district assembly. This is the premises of the district assembly, and this is the center. This is where former President John Mahama always votes, and this is where he's coming to register. This is where he will cast the vote 7, and this is the vote that will actually the opportunity to collect others that Ghanaians will be giving him to be sworn in later as the president of Ghana come January 7, 2020. And so I'm working towards to position myself properly and have a better view. So you can see that very soon he's about to alight from his car, and there he is, former President John Dramani Mahama, who is smartly dressed in his usual kente woven cloth and his jeans, being followed by security men, and obviously going through the process to get registered as a voter. Today he is going to get his ID card. Today that ID card will give him the opportunity to register for the NDC as their candidate for the 2020 elections. I had the regional deputy communications officer here with me, and then we are continuing the conversation while we see the numbers swell around the former president go through the process. In fact, we will take you there. We will definitely take you there to witness how the former president is going through the process. We have also told you that the former president will be speaking to you through Wezo TV and TV XYZ, where you can actually appreciate what he has to tell Ghanaians after visiting his home region to get the trump card to represent the NDC, to vote for himself, perhaps the NDC candidate here, of course, and then we wait for the results come December 7 by midnight or the next day. But the regional communications officer is here. You saw the arrival, well protected by security men. Obviously, the numbers will swell even before we leave here. How do you feel seeing him come, this your man in your own region, in his home district?
I think the number speaks for itself. Because we told the people that we don't need large numbers, but for the love they have for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has been their MP for 12 years, they cannot afford to catch a glimpse of the final gentleman. And so everybody wants to be part of this memorable occasion. He has always registered, and all the time this is where he goes to register. And so today is not a different occasion. But I see the enthusiasm among the people. Each and every soul standing here, I can tell you on authority that each and everybody has registered his or her name in the register. And that is why when you look at the register, this current registration, the Bole Bamboi constituency has seen a significant lift of the figures as far as the register is concerned.
You talked about, and I'm very interested in that because we are understanding that the picture is same across the country, because we listen to even people in government complain bitterly about figures from Ketu South, and they were suggesting that it is strange. 39,000 in 2016 for the elections and 51,000 as at the close of yesterday. And then we expect that by the close of the exercise here and a few other registration centers, you may be getting closer to 60,000.
Yes.
Now, for you, what does this represent? People angry and yearning to vote, or a normal population increment because of the 4-year gap from 2016 to 2020?
I think coming into contact with most of the people who registered, some will tell you this is the first time of registering, and that they didn't have
these are
any
elderly
interest.
people.
Exactly. And so the question is, why do you all want to register now? Now what they will tell you is that they have carried alcohol and they have carried water, and they know the difference of their weight, and so they wouldn't go and sit for anybody to decide for them who should be the leader of this country. And so they want to all participate in the 2020 elections, and that is why we have seen that significant figures rising in this particular constituency.
So the former president is behind me. You can see the wall around him. These are anxious residents of Bole. This is his home district. This is where he has always voted. This is where he has always registered. And this is very significant, as I've told you earlier, that from here, it means that he's now set and NDC may begin the campaign towards the 2020 elections. We have spoken about Bole Bamboi, and we are getting the picture that the figures have shot up.
Sure.
And because you mostly win over 70% plus of elections here, because this is your stronghold, you are in a comfortable lead already. Sure. Now let's look at Savannah region. You are the Deputy Regional Communications Officer. Can you help us a bit further, because you started that conversation before the arrival of the former president and his entourage. Give us a better picture about your assessment so far in other constituencies in the region.
Well, let me dive to the regional capital, which is Damango constituency. The figures there are rising as well as that of Bole Bamboi constituency. But interestingly, the MPP candidate in Damango, which also doubles as the Deputy Chief of Staff, which is Abu Jenapo, has buzzed several people from Bantima, King Tampo, to Damango constituency. We are very sure that the people of Damango knows who is a better leader to lead them into the 2020.
NDC is always complaining.
Well, if there is nothing to complain, why will we complain? We want a free and fair elections. The rules are there. Why would you go and bring people from Bantima to come and decide who becomes your member of parliament in Damango?
So the picture you are painting is that the NPP is trying to manipulate the process.
Obviously.
Because here we are in one part of the country, they are trying to frustrate people, voter suppression, using military men, physically blocking roads, preventing them to go and register. Yet in other areas, they are doing otherwise. That's what you want to say.
Exactly. The military are all over. Here in Bole is a different story. The military are not there, but...
Is it because this is the home district of the former president?
Not at all.
Or when you look at, know, in spite of what they would do, they would.
Of course, in the Savannah region, they only want one constituency. They have one constituency, and they want one constituency. What happens is that they have Salga South constituency, and they are not more interested in Salga South constituency, but rather in Damango constituency. And that is why their attentions are in Damango constituency, busing their party faithfuls from Bantima and other areas. What is your
position now? Just 2 minutes before you walk away from us, because obviously you also want to be part of history, because 2020 is crucial for you as a party and for your position as a deputy. Now, would you say the NDC has positioned itself to ensure that there's nothing that is done perhaps to take away what belongs to you?
Well, we are not taking MPP for granted, and I know they are not also taking us for granted. But we are doing everything legitimately right to make sure that John Dramani Mahama is sworn as the president of the Republic of this country come 7th January 2021.
Thank you very much. So I've just been speaking to the deputy regional communications officer of the NDC for Savannah region. I'll be speaking to a colleague of mine. He's a media manager in Giligi FM here at Bole. In fact, they are the owners of the airwaves because we are told that people listen to you a lot. Now, for you as a media person like me, give us your general impression about the exercise, what you hear, the complaints here and there. Let's focus on Bole Bamboy, even as we witness the former president go through the process to get his voter ID card.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to also say one or two words.
Let me break protocol.
Yes.
For those watching us, they want to appreciate who you are.
I'll come to that. My name is Mahama Haruna.
Okay.
As you rightly said,
so you can go ahead with the conversation.
I'm a local media man. I'm the general manager of Bole base in Kiligi FM.
Okay, so we're talking about your assessment from what you have heard, the complaints, what the media is discussing with respect to the ongoing registration exercise.
Yes, as a local media station, we've done a lot of stories on some of these issues you are talking about. First of all, I'll say all in all, everything is perfect. Everything is moving smoothly in the Bole Bamboy constituency, and for that matter, the neighboring constituency, that is the Solatuna Kalba constituency, or you can say Solatuna Kalba district. In the case of Bole, it is only just 3 days ago, there was an issue of 88 farmers that have been challenged. And those farmers happen to be around the Bui area. You know, Bole district share a boundary with the Bui Dam. And we have a community there called Jama.
So that is a typical settler community.
Very good. After the construction of the Bui, some people along the river were relocated. So they have a community around the area called New Jama. They are fishermen. So when it was time for registering, they moved to the New Jama community to also take part in the registration exercise. But they were challenged. 88 farmers. The issue came to Bole.
So for you, why is it happening this way? How are residents taking it?
Yeah, the challenge of the people of Jama, who, to be frank,
I'm making reference to how residents who know their fellow citizens, fellow Ghanaians, being denied the opportunity because of somebody's interest. How are people reacting generally?
Yeah, I will have come to that. A lot of people are not happy because some of the issues, there are political undertones. The Jama community happen to be an NPP community. To be frank, it is the only polling station the NPP mostly win. So when the fishermen came around to register, they protested, saying that they don't want them to come and spoil their votes. That was just the reason.
No, I'm very curious.
Yeah.
My curiosity is born out of the fact that generally, the Electoral Commission opens registration centers at all voting centers, all polling stations.
Yes.
Now, EC says we are going to cluster the registration exercise, and then they locate one station at an MPP stronghold, and people are taking advantage of the environment to prevent other Ghanaians from voting. Is that the picture you are painting?
Exactly. And a lot of people are not happy with the situation. As I'm talking, it is a very big issue, which from the information I have gotten today, will have to resolve. A lot of people are calling for the ID cards of the voter ID cards of the said farmers to be given to them because they are residents of the area. They are just fishermen.
Okay, so let's continue. I'm being just for the benefit of those who may see a little confusion here.
Yes.
We want to go to the registration center, but when the team is set, we'll get there. But you continue your conversation.
Yes, I think for now, JM is going through the registration process, and everything is going on smoothly. You can see the number of people that have come out. To be frank, Bole, as a radio station, we have always told them to go by the COVID-19 safety protocols. So you can see that the place is well organized. In those days, you come, you see a lot of people. But now we always tell them that no, we have these COVID-19 protocols. Everybody should stay at home and listen to the local radio stations, especially in Kilgi FM. So a lot of people at home monitoring what is happening here.
Okay, and so monitoring what is happening here, I'll be continuing the conversation with you, so don't go. This is Wizard TV. You can catch us live on Facebook, on other social media handles, and this is in partnership with TVXYZ. We shall be doing this wherever the president goes, anything he does, the activities around the former president, NDC's 2020 flag bearer, and the NDC as a party ahead of the 2020 elections. And as I told you, you can hear some singing at the back, at the background. It tells you the former president has moved towards the EC BVR machines are, that's the biometric verification devices are, where they will be taking the thumbprints, his picture and so on, before he can get his card, his slip, and move on to where it will be laminated for him to come and show us his voter ID card. Now, let's continue the conversation. The area is a bit chaotic. You can see people excited. It's quite difficult for us to manage. COVID is around. They have announced on radio, as he said, that people should stay at home, listen on radio and watch on TV, so that we can respect the social distancing advice. That's the recommendation here. But you can see many of them are here excited. But let's continue our conversation. You were telling me about your assessment of the exercise. We just spoke about one of the communities, German. Now, beyond that area, let's look at other constituencies within the Savannah region.
The Damango constituency is the hotbed. As far as the...
Why is it the hotbed?
I think the stakes are high in Damango because we have a deputy chief of staff whom the NDC said is a money bag and has come with plenty cash and is spreading around. And you know where money is, that is where sometimes people try to go. The situation in Damango is so rancorous that the wife of an MP was challenged. Simply because
Adam
Mutakili, the MP for Damango constituency, simply because the woman is from the Upper East. She's a Frafra. But this is a woman that has voted in Damango 2012, 2016 and assembly elections.
And so why would anybody do that?
So it tells you the situation in Damango. From day one, bussing people in, bussing people out became an issue.
But has it resulted in pockets of clashes like we have in other areas?
Yeah, there was. For instance, the nephew of the MP was beaten to pulp. He was beaten to the extent that he was sent to hospital. And then another beating is that of a media man who allegedly reported that somebody was shooting guns at one of the, was giving warning shots at one of the polling stations. So it became a big issue, and all those issues are under investigation by the police. The police are investigating. If not for the situation in Damango, Savannah region, all in all, I would say yes, has been
now,
quiet.
Today, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, is here. Obviously, he is about finishing the registration exercise. Yes. And then the former president will be speaking to the media, we hope. Yes. And then he'll be telling us how he feels now that he has access to the voters register. Now let's wrap up the conversation with you. We are live on Wizard TV, live on TVXYZ, and for you as a media, you have just given us a summary that so far not bad, relatively peaceful. Now, before we go, beyond Savannah region, because it used to be part of the northern region.
Yes.
And so obviously your interest will be about what is happening at your mother region. Let's put it this way.
Exactly.
For those of us in Accra, Kumasi, Takrady, other regions across the country, maybe you can paint a better picture for us to see how the exercise has also gone on in those areas.
Yeah, I believe we are in a world that whatever that is happening in any part of Ghana, I mean, it's heard across the country. We've all heard of the situation in the Volta region, and I can say a lot of people are not happy, in which a particular ethnic group has been targeted. I think many people are not happy with the stories that are emanating from the Volta region. And some of these stories are backed by videos. It looks like some of the stories are now backed by videos, even though some government officials are denying the fact that there are issues in some parts of the country. Some say the largest opposition party, the NDC, is just making up stories. Just
nation for all of us, where everybody, notwithstanding your ethnicity or your party affiliation, can enjoy the opportunities of this country. And the Akufo-Addo administration is trying to turn our dictatorship. A lot of the things that are happening, closure of radio stations, harassment of journalists, and just recently during this registration exercise, the alienation of people and the questioning of their citizenship, the use of the military to prevent people from registering. It all shows a government that is determined to do everything to hang on to power. President Rawlings was the first president under the Fourth Republic. He ruled this country for 8 years. He handed over peacefully, a peaceful and united country, to President Kufuor. President Kufuor was in power for 8 years. He handed over a peaceful and united country to President Mills. I took over in 2012 after the unfortunate passing of President Mills. And I handed a peaceful and united country to President Akufo-Addo. Unfortunately, what nation is President Akufo-Addo going to hand over to me when I take over from him in 2020? We will bring back the peace and unity of this country. We'll make all our people feel that they belong to this country and that some people do not own this country more than others. And so everybody register. Your vote is your power. Let's register and kick out this non-performing government. It's been 8 years of abandoned projects, 8 years of failed promises. One village, one dam has not materialized. All the dams dry up in the dry season. Most districts do not have any factory yet. And yet it's all been propaganda, propaganda, and propaganda. Ghanaians have seen through it. And on 7th December 2020, they are going to exercise their franchise to kick out this government. We will come back, we will restore economic prosperity in this country, and we will protect our people from the coronavirus. Look at the number of people who are dying from coronavirus, the number of people who have been infected. This government has failed in its coronavirus response. And so NDC is going to come and put things right. Thank you. God bless you.
Wrapped up. Brief comment. Obviously, he's not going to say much because this is not a campaign platform. But I've just seen Sofo Azoka walking, and the people around him are doing the singing. I'll try to draw his attention to be with us, and then so we can hear him. So I have Sofo Azoka who will join us. The whole area is chaotic. Please hold on. Let him come. Please stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Okay. So you are live. Stay there. Stay here. Stay here. Please stay there. Okay. So there's a popular man. It's okay. It's okay. I understand. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you. The excitement is very high.
Wofene, Lenere, Eskimagben, Kaskima Mayunene, Kitirota, Bas coronavirus Bemoani, the government Mati Aurushen. I'm Sadaga Nansen, NDCL Langamba, the Kanwe, Ankada Ota, Ne Eskima Benny Mugregregina, and Kaska, Ne Bas Bukabauta Enyale. I'm so be a cheerful a last day. I'm so Makula Kamana, I will come and register, Binijan Day. Last day, a late cheerful, but register and soft card so that December 7th, Farba, Amba Kragabu cab vote and send NDC Langba, Bankrego for Dangsong, Metro Binga.
So far as you register, tell for your mother Ghana, don't fear death. If we fear death, wallah, we can't achieve our aim. Everybody.
Okay, thank you very much. So far, Dr. has spoken, and that is where we bring program to an end. So we heard Sofo Azoka. From here, former President John Mahama is going to witness a football match. After witnessing the football match, we are driving all the way to Bamboy. He'll be to Bandang Panta to witness the registration exercise. My name is Erica Hianyo. This has been a live event from the premises of the Bole District Assembly, and you watched Wizard TV on social media and TV XYZ. Ensure that you always, because this is where you can get all the events around the former ahead of the 2020 elections.